Hey everyone, welcome to your Entertainment Deep Dive. It's Friday, January 3rd, 2025. We know you're busy, so we're giving you the rundown on what's shaking up the world of movies, TV, and streaming. From those did you see that moments to the big picture trends.
It is a really dynamic time. Seeing power shift from traditional Hollywood to this more kind of global landscape, it's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, so let's jump right in with a win for global content. Squid Game Season 2 blew the roof off Netflix, like 68 million views in just 4 days.
No.
Bigger than Wednesday, even. What is it about these global hits that captures everyone's attention so quickly?
Well, I don't think it's just about subtitles anymore. Netflix has tapped into something, I don't know, primal with Squid Game. It's almost like a modern day, uh, you know, gladiatorial arena. You've got these high stakes and relatable anxieties, and you're watching it thinking, could I survive that?
Right.
And then, Netflix is also brilliant at turning their shows into events. You have to
Yeah.
watch it to be part of the conversation.
Yeah, you don't want to be the only one who hasn't seen it. So is this success just about one mega hit, or is Netflix onto something bigger?
I think Netflix is thriving right now. Subscriber retention is up, their content strategy seems to be working, and they're diversifying their offerings. One of the keys to their success is their low churn rate, meaning people are staying subscribed. And they do this by creating binge-worthy content. Their algorithms seem to know exactly what keeps us hooked.
It's about creating an entire experience, not just having a few big hits. It makes you think about how other streaming services need to up their game. But is this playing out in other parts of the entertainment world? Like what's happening with movie theaters?
That's a great question. We've seen some kind of troubling news from the UK with cinema closures, places like Northampton and Kettering. It raises the question, is the big screen dying?
It's a scary thought.
Cinemas are facing challenges. Costs are up, fewer films are being released after the strikes, and audience habits have definitely changed.
Yeah. It's almost like we've become spoiled by the convenience and comfort of streaming.
Hmm.
So is it all doom and gloom for cinemas, or is there a way back?
It's not a simple answer. While those smaller venues are struggling, premium experiences are attracting viewers who want something special. Comfy seats, amazing sound systems, that sort of thing.
Maybe it's about finding the right balance between that at-home experience and offering something truly unique. What do you think the future holds for cinemas?
Well, that's a great question. It's something for you, the listener, to consider. What would make you go to a theater these days? The spectacle, the shared experience. The industry is trying to figure that out right now.
I guess we'll have to see. Speaking of global trends, let's look at what's happening in India. Producer Siddharth Roy Kapoor has been talking about this phenomenon he calls theatrical polarization. Some films are exceeding pre-pandemic numbers, while others are flopping hard.
Right.
What's going on there?
Well, it's a risky time for movies in India. COVID definitely shifted audience habits, and people are much more selective about what they'll pay to see in a theater. On top of that, production delays mean fewer releases overall.
So it's creating this kind of feast or famine situation for audiences. So is it like a quality over quantity thing happening
Exactly. This might resonate with you as a listener. Ever feel overwhelmed by all the choices on streaming?
all the time?
This is the industry feeling
Yeah.
that.
Okay, while we're on the topic of evolving viewing habits, let's talk about this rise of FAST channels. FAST stands for Free Ad-Supported Streaming TV. It's booming, and big players like BBC Studios and Lionsgate are all jumping into this space. It sounds kind of old school. Why are they doing that?
Well, what's interesting is these companies are being really strategic about it. It's not just about throwing a bunch of random content online. Curation is key. Think dedicated channels with a specific focus rather than endless scrolling. And data plays a huge role, allowing them to tailor content to what people actually want to watch.
So they're bringing back that curated experience of traditional TV,
Yeah.
but making it free and accessible online.
Exactly.
That's fascinating.
And for you, the listener, this could be a game changer. Free entertainment is evolving, becoming more sophisticated. It's definitely something to keep an eye on because it could very well be how we all consume TV in the future.
Absolutely. And what about content? What are you excited about? What's caught your eye?
Well, there are a few things I've got my eye on. There's this film, Love Me, for example, that has Kristen Stewart and Stephen Yeun voicing AI characters. They fall in love after humanity is gone.
Whoa, that's a whole different take on the AI apocalypse.
Right.
It's usually all doom and gloom.
Exactly. This one seems to be about connection and hope, even in the face of extinction.
So it's more Wall-E than Terminator. I like it. What else is on your radar?
There's this documentary called Eternal Father about a man who chooses cryonic preservation.
Cryogenic preservation. That's a whole different level of fandom. But seriously, that documentary sounds like it makes you think about some big questions.
It does. It really does. It gets you thinking about life, death, and what we would do for more time.
Definitely adding that to my watch list.
Yeah.
Okay, what else?
Then there's M Son of the Century. It's a series directed by Joe Wright about the rise of Mussolini.
No, that sounds intense.
It is, but what's fascinating about it is its relevance to today's world. We're seeing this resurgence of far-right ideologies, and this series offers a chilling look at how those ideas take root and gain power.
Chillingly relevant is right.
Okay.
So we've got AI romance, cryogenics, and a historical drama with modern-day parallels.
Ah.
Anything a little more lighthearted?
Well, just for fun, we have to mention that Crocodile Dundee is getting a 4K re-edit, with the scenes being removed, considered inappropriate for today's audiences.
Wow, I remember watching that movie as a kid. I loved it, but some of the jokes probably haven't aged well.
Probably not.
It's tough, right? You want to preserve those classic films, but also acknowledge that times have changed.
It highlights the ongoing debate about how we view classic films through a modern lens. What should stay? What should go? It's a complex issue with no easy answers.
Yeah, and it speaks to the evolving values of our culture. So it's not just about updating the picture quality, it's about grappling with how our values have changed. It makes you wonder what other classics might get the re-edit treatment in the future. All right, before we move on, let's hit some quick industry updates. First up, Marvel is pumping the brakes a bit. They're only releasing 3 films in 2025, Captain America, Thunderbolts, and Fantastic Four.
It seems like that quality over quantity approach might finally be taking hold in Hollywood.
We've had a lot of superhero movies lately.
Yeah.
Maybe a little break is a good thing. All right, what else is going on?
We've also got a trailer out for season 2 of Netflix's The Recruit.
Oh, yeah, that show is pretty fun. I'm curious to see what they do with season 2.
Well, from the looks of it, you've got more spy stuff, international intrigue, but also a lot of personal drama.
Spy stuff and personal drama. You had me at spy stuff. What else is happening?
And finally, some good news for German cinema. Film funding is getting a boost.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I love German cinema. They make some incredible films.
This is definitely a positive step, but there are still limitations. They need to be able to compete with Hollywood if they want to attract those big budget productions.
Fingers crossed they can use that funding to make some truly epic movies. Well, I think that wraps up part 1 of our entertainment deep dive for today.
Yeah, we've covered quite a lot. From record-breaking shows to the future of cinema itself.
But stick with us because we're not done yet.
Yeah.
In part 2, we're going to be diving deeper into some of the key executive moves shaping the industry. So stay tuned. Welcome back to part 2 of our entertainment deep dive. In the last part, we talked about global hits, struggling cinemas, and even cryogenics. But now we're going behind the scenes to see how some powerful players are shaking things up.
It's amazing how, one person in the right position can really shift an entire industry. These executives we're about to discuss, they're shaping the future of what we watch, how we watch it, where it comes from, the whole thing.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. First up, we've got Diane Min, who was just elected chair of the Korean Format Alliance. I'll admit I'm not super familiar with the KFA. What's their deal?
Think of the KFA as like trendsetters, taking Korean shows global. You might be watching their next big hit without even realizing it. Diane Min's appointment is a big deal because it speaks to the growing power of Korean content on the world stage.
Korean dramas, K-pop, and now reality shows, they're everywhere. What is it about Korean formats that makes them so successful?
It's not just about, catchy music or beautiful people. Korean storytellers are masters of tapping into universal emotions, whether it's love, loss, or, family drama. Plus, the production value is top-notch.
So it's a perfect storm of talent, production quality, and hitting those emotional chords. Okay, wow, Diane Min has a lot on her shoulders. Let's shift our focus to Canada. Stéphane Cardin was appointed CEO of the Quebec Film and Television Council. I have a feeling you're about to tell me he's not just some random guy.
You know me too well. Stéphane Cardin comes from Netflix Canada, where he was the head of public policy, so he knows the ins and outs of the streaming world. His move to the QFTC is a clear sign that Quebec is serious about attracting big productions and showcasing their, incredible local talent and stunning locations.
Wait, you're telling me those breathtaking landscapes in some of my favorite shows were filmed in Quebec?
Oh, yeah.
I had no idea.
You'd be surprised how many productions choose Quebec. It's so versatile. It can double for European cities, American towns, you name it.
It's like Hollywood's best-kept secret. What kind of impact do you think Stéphane Cardin will have on the Quebec film and television industry.
Well, he's bringing this global perspective
Yeah.
and an understanding of what it takes to compete in today's market. I think we can expect to see even more international collaborations and high-profile productions coming out of Quebec.
So for you, the listener, this is a reminder that the entertainment world is truly global. It's not just about Hollywood anymore. The next big hit could come from anywhere. Speaking of reaching a global audience, let's talk about this partnership that caught my eye. KVN Productions, a major Indian production company, is teaming up with Thespian Films for a Malayalam language feature film. Why is this significant?
This collaboration shows how production companies are thinking outside the box. They're looking beyond their usual markets. KVN Productions is a powerhouse in India, and now they're tapping into the, vibrant Malayalam language film industry, which is known for its unique storytelling and passionate fan base.
It's like they're saying, hey, great stories can come from anywhere, and we want to be a part of that. It's exciting to see this kind of cross-cultural exchange happening. Let's talk about a big acquisition that's been making headlines. Boat Rocker, a Canadian studio, has fully acquired Insight Productions, known for reality shows like The Amazing Race Canada and Top Chef Canada. Is this a sign that reality TV is here to stay?
I think it definitely shows that unscripted content is still a major force. Boat Rocker's acquisition of Insight Productions is interesting because it comes at a time when the U.S. scripted market is facing challenges post-strikes.
So they're playing it smart, focusing on a genre that's not as affected by those disruptions. It's like they're hedging their bet, saying, hey, people will always love a good competition or a peek into someone else's life. Okay, now, let's get to the part I know everyone's been waiting for, renewals and cancellations. And we've got good news for fans of horses and high stakes because ITV has renewed Champions, full gallop for a second season.
That's great news for those who love a, peek behind the curtain of the racing world. The show gives you that inside look at the dedication, the challenges, and the triumphs of those incredible jockeys and their horses.
Okay, but is it as exciting as a team of imprisoned monsters on high-risk missions? Because Max has just renewed Creature Commandos for a second season.
This is one of the projects spearheaded by James Gunn, the new co-chair of DC Studios, and it definitely has that, signature Gunn blend of humor, action, and a touch of the bizarre.
It's like the Suicide Squad meets Scooby-Doo.
Mm.
All right, now for the cancellation that broke our hearts. Peacock has axed In the Know after just one season. What happened? It seemed like such a promising show.
It's a tough break, especially because it was Peacock's first foray into, adult animation and a stop-motion live-action hybrid created by, some seriously talented people, Mike Judge. The show had a unique style and quirky humor that resonated with a lot of viewers.
It's a reminder that even with big names and a unique concept, there are no guarantees in this business. I guess it just wasn't the right fit for Peacock's audience.
Yeah.
Or maybe it got lost in the shuffle of all those other streaming shows.
It happens. It's a harsh reality of the industry. But hey, maybe In the Know will find a new home on another platform. Stranger things have happened.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. And on that note, let's wrap up part 2 of our entertainment deep dive. But don't go anywhere, because in part 3, we're taking a look at upcoming releases and what they tell us about the future of entertainment. Stay tuned. Welcome back for the final part of our entertainment deep dive. We've covered a lot of ground, from global trends to behind-the-scenes power moves. But now, let's look ahead and see what's coming down the pipeline. What has you excited?
I'm really intrigued by what I'm seeing in these trailers, the early buzz. Like that trailer for season 2 of Netflix's The Recruit just dropped. And it looks like they're taking things to a whole new level.
Oh, yeah. That show was so much fun. I binged it in, 2 days. What's going on in season 2?
Well, it seems like Owen Hendricks, that lawyer who got caught up in the world of espionage, he's in even deeper this time. He's facing threats, not just from, enemies, but from within the CIA itself.
Ooh, double dose of danger. I can already feel the tension.
Yeah, and what I find really compelling is how they're blending those high-stakes spy elements with personal drama. You're on the edge of your seat wondering who to trust, but you're also invested in Owen's journey.
It's like a spy thriller meets a coming-of-age story with a healthy dose of paranoia thrown in. I'm definitely adding that to my watch list. Now, earlier we talked about German film funding getting a boost. What impact do you think that will have on the kinds of films we see coming out of Germany?
That's a great question. The increase in funding is huge, But as we said, they still need to compete with those big budget Hollywood productions. I think we'll see a continued focus on high quality genre films like, thrillers, sci-fi, maybe even horror.
Oh, those are some of my favorite genres. I'm always looking for a good scare or a mind-bending sci-fi adventure.
Well, German filmmakers are known for their technical skills and
Yeah.
their willingness to experiment. I think we'll see more visually stunning and thought-provoking films that can grab attention on an international level.
So keep an eye out for those hidden gems from Germany.
Now, let's talk about a trend that's been going strong. The revival of classic franchises. We talked about Crocodile Dundee, but it seems like every studio is digging into their vault. Anything with a built-in fan base.
It's a nostalgia wave, for
Yeah.
sure. Tapping into those pre-existing fan bases, leveraging those beloved characters and storylines. Sequels, reboots, prequels. It's like Hollywood is hoping to recapture that magic of the past.
And sometimes it works, like with Top Gun, Maverick. But sometimes it falls flat. It's tricky, right?
Yeah.
Honoring the original, but also bringing something fresh.
You've got to balance honoring the original, but also appealing to a new generation of viewers. If you just rehash the same old thing, audiences will see right through it.
So for you, the listener, which classic franchises would you love to see revived? And what would those reboots need to be successful?
It's a fun thought experiment. Now, let's circle back to something we talked about earlier, the global success of Squid Game Season 2, that growing appetite for stories from different cultures. Audiences are hungry for new perspectives, stories that take them outside their comfort zones.
And streaming platforms are recognizing this. They're investing heavily in international productions. Understanding that diversity isn't just a buzzword, it's key to success in today's market.
It's exciting to think about the possibilities.
Yeah.
So what does this mean for the future of entertainment?
I think we're going to see even more cross-cultural collaborations, stories that blend different traditions and perspectives. The lines between Hollywood and the rest of the world will continue to blur, creating this richer, more diverse entertainment landscape.
That's a good thing, right? More choices, more stories, more ways to connect.
Exactly.
I, for one, am really excited to see where it all leads.
Me too. It's a dynamic and fascinating time to be a fan.
And that brings us to the end of our entertainment deep dive.
We've explored record-breaking shows, behind-the-scenes power moves, and the trends shaping the future.
It's been quite a journey. But before we go, we want to leave you with one final thought-provoking question. With all this change, all this innovation, what kind of entertainment do you think we'll be craving in 5 years? What stories will resonate with us? What experiences will capture our imaginations? Share your thoughts with us on social media. We'd love to hear your predictions.
We're all in this together, discovering what's next.
So keep exploring, keep watching, and most importantly, keep those conversations going. Until next time.